House Speaker Mike Johnson has been making the rounds all over the media, including the fake news media outlets that I thought he and his party didn't like. And he's really trying to convince the American people that this government shutdown is all the fault of the Democrats. Yes, the Democrats who control not the White House, not the House, not the Senate, not the judiciary, not much of anything these days. They're the ones who suddenly have all the power and authority to shut down our government.
What they've decided to do tonight with their vote is to close the government. And what that means, everybody needs to understand, real pain for real Americans. What does that mean? It means women, infants, and children do not get their nutrition programs. That is not funded anymore. Veterans don't get their health care services, suicide prevention, and other very important things that are very timely. You have low-income persons who are Medicaid, Medicare recipients who are receiving care at home. Those programs are now lapsed. They will not be funded.
Yeah, you're making a point about what happens if the government shuts
That's
down.
right, and they just decided to do it. So the only question tonight is, how long will Chuck Schumer keep the government closed? It's a dangerous gambit. It's something that he himself said his entire political career would be dangerous and disastrous. Roll the tape.
Yes, the Democrats who haven't been able to stop the passing of Trump's big, beautiful bill, the same one that triggered nearly $1 trillion in healthcare cuts for Americans, the Democrats who haven't been able to stop the president from sending the National Guard into American cities against the will of the governors and mayors, the Democrats who haven't been able to prevent the incredible wave of job losses that came as a result of Trump's Department of Government Efficiency, the same Democrats who have not been able to stop the president from tariffing the entire planet, those are the same Democrats who somehow shut down the government today. Johnson's line is that the Democrats insisted on including funding in the bills for illegal immigrants to get health care in this country. And it's a decent line because if we know anything, it's that Trump's most diehard followers hate nothing more than scary brown people from other countries.
We're rolling the greatest hits on our social media.
Yeah, I'm just saying that the point about giving people who are here illegally health care is not exactly what is in their proposal.
No, it is 100% what their
immigrants
proposal.
who have legal status,
No,
and you're just
Caitlin,
disagreeing
you're
on who's eligible. I
I'm
looked
not.
at it, actually, because I was curious about your argument yesterday.
You should study the CBO's analysis that they just put out a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I saw
and
that about the 1.2 million people. You're basically arguing about who has legal status, people who are seeking refuge here or seeking asylum.
No, I'm making sure that we are making sure in our provisions that we sign into law have ensured that health care benefits go only to eligible U.S. citizens.
Right,
Chuck Schumer's
federal
proposal.
law.
Federal law was not being enforced. That's the whole point. We had to fine-tune that so that we could strengthen the healthcare program.
He keeps saying illegal because he has to, but we know from the actions of ICE and the way that those actions have been supported by those same diehard MAGA Republicans that they don't really care whether or not these people are here legally or illegally. They don't care much if they're citizens or if they were born here even. They don't care if there's due process to determine whether or not these people that are being abducted off of the streets by ICE are here legally or illegally. They don't seem too concerned with the poor living conditions at Alligator Alcatraz either, nor about the fact that so many people who were once detained at the facility are now simply missing. So Johnson can peddle his line all day long, but it doesn't make any sense. The Democrats wanted negotiations over health care, it's true, but there was nothing about illegal immigrants. Democrats wanted to extend the Affordable Care Act tax credits that are set to expire later this year. They wanted to reverse the Trump cuts to Medicaid, money that we all had in our healthcare system as recently as a month ago. If nothing happens on this front, ACA premiums are expected to jump up by more than 75% on average in 2026. Of course, none of that matters because Johnson is getting his marching orders from Trump himself, as well as from Vice President J.D. Vance. Vance tweeted last week, Democrats are about to shut down the government because they demand we fund healthcare for illegal aliens. And Trump posted this to Truth Social. The Democrats want illegal aliens, many of them violent criminals, to receive free health care. The Democrats want $500 million to help radical left news outfits. The Democrats want to leave dead people on Medicaid and Social Security rolls so that criminals can continue to be allowed to receive that payment and steal their money. The Democrats want to cut billions of dollars from our once vulnerable rural hospitals, which we fixed by giving them the largest cash infusion ever. The Democrats want men playing in women's sports, transgender for everybody, open borders, and perhaps most importantly of all, a 5-letter word, crime. They like it and we don't. And so many other things that will destroy America. We cannot let this happen. And yeah, like as a member of the radical left, I can confirm that that is a big part of our agenda. We want transgender for everybody. The dream is that whatever you are now, we just want you to switch, right? Everybody just switch. It'll be very expensive and there will be some growing pains, no pun intended, but we really think that in the long run, it's going to be worth it. Okay, anybody who believes that that is a genuine thing that the left is pushing for is a lost cause. They are delusional, they are paranoid, and I don't know how one comes back from that. I have no idea. I'm not a psychiatrist. The problem is, though, that the people who believe these things can't even clock for themselves that their thinking is way out beyond left field. They're so detached from reality that something that makes no logical sense seems sensible to them. And in a democracy, those people still get to vote. They still get to participate in our government. And I'm not saying that they shouldn't be able to. I'm not advocating to take away anybody's right to have a say in their leadership. I am saying that the rest of us have to be aware of who and what we're really dealing with when it comes to this democratic process. The fact that some people in this country still believe everything that comes out of Trump's mouth is very, very sad. But if they haven't learned by now that he is nothing more than a big, fat liar, then they're not going to. They don't want to. And if in that clip, it almost sounded as if Trump was looking forward to a government shutdown, it's probably because he and his cabinet and his advisors have big plans for all of us. And a big part of those big plans getting implemented is first shutting down the government. I spoke about this guy earlier this week, but in case you missed that video, Russell Vought is the White House budget director. He is a Christian nationalist. He, for example, led the charge to cut SNAP benefits for Americans. He's the one who said that he wanted federal workers to feel trauma whenever they showed up to work because they're the villains. He was a major contributor to Project 2025. He loves what has come to be branded as government efficiency, and he loves the idea of a dictatorial president. He has been a key player in helping Trump consolidate presidential power, and he even found a way to get the Federal Reserve, which is supposed to be an independent body, under the administration's thumb. But when Elon Musk was on his Doge rampage earlier this year, Vought wasn't happy about it, not because he hated the idea of federal agencies getting gutted, or because he hated seeing senior staffers losing their jobs for no reason, or because he was worried about the implications that this would have later on down the line as far as the absence of the work that these agencies were doing or the unemployment rate. No, he just didn't like the way that Elon was doing what he was doing. In Vought's words, Elon was creating needless liability. So now that the government is shut down, we get to see what Vought's way actually looks like. It was reported a whole week ago that Vought was telling agencies to prepare for mass firings in the case of a shutdown, not furloughs, which is what we typically see during a shutdown, but firings. They're using this shutdown as an excuse to eliminate even more federal jobs permanently. In a memo, OMB told agencies to identify programs, projects, and activities where discretionary funding will lapse October 1st and no alternative funding source is available. For those areas, OMB directed agencies to begin drafting RIF plans, that's reduction in force plans, that would go beyond standard furloughs, permanently eliminating jobs in programs not consistent with President Donald Trump's priorities in the event of a shutdown. The move marks a significant break from how shutdowns have been handled in recent decades, when most furloughs were temporary and employees were brought back once Congress voted to reopen government and funding was restored. This time, OMB Director Russ Vought is using the threat of permanent job cuts as leverage, upping the ante in the standoff with Democrats in Congress over government spending. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer agreed that a shutdown would feed into the Republican Trumpian agenda, arguing that a shutdown would be a gift, allowing Trump and his deputies to destroy vital government services at a significantly faster rate than they can now. As of today, October 1st, Vought says that these mass firings will commence, quote, in a day or two. He also said that money is about to run out for WIC, which is a nutrition program for low-income moms and babies, and for active duty members of the military, the latter of whom can expect their paychecks to stop coming in after October 15th. Democrats are working on legislation to get the troops paid, but Republicans are reportedly not willing to put it to a vote because they are playing politics. They're blaming the Democrats for the shutdown while blocking efforts to get Americans out of this really, really rough situation that we're heading into. And on top of that, workers that are deemed to be essential, like TSA workers, for example, are expected to continue working without pay for the foreseeable future. And we all know how much Trump loves to just not pay workers. I'm not optimistic that any of this is going to be wrapped up anytime soon because this could have all been prevented, it seems. Republicans are gambling that their base is still so siloed in their thinking that they'll be able to successfully pin this shutdown on the Democrats, at least in their eyes. But overall, the polling is not in their favor. So that's something. It's not a whole lot, but it is something. All right, that's it for me. If you got anything out of this, please like the video and subscribe to the channel for more. Thanks.